Kuna, and I'm joined by
your co-host Santy Hernandez,
your co-host Anali Reyes,
your co-host Kimberly Escobar.
And on today's show, we'll be talking about going back to school for both high schoolers and college students. So what we're going to do is Santy and I are going to interview Kimberly and Anali, and we're just going to go over with how they feel about high school and college so far. So that's why we're going to spend the first half of the show, and during the second half of the show, we will be interviewing Hasani Moore, who is a social practitioner for the Empowerment Clubhouse in Marin City. Before we get to the first topic, here is Kimberly with the quote of the week.
The quote is, "Education is the most powerful weapon for changing the world." I think this is very true because if you want change in your environment or in the world, you need to be educated on what's happening in today's world.
It's a great quote. Do you guys want to say something about it?
Yeah, well, like I always say that education is your most powerful tool because it's a lot harder for people to bring you down when you have education. And I'm not just referring to, career-wise, education in different areas of life. And when you have that type of education, you are stronger and solid as a person. So it's a lot harder for people to hurt you, and it's a lot harder for you to hurt people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I feel like it can save some time if you're educated as well. Like, if you just learn from people's mistakes through education, you don't have to go through those mistakes on your own, and you just save time because you already know what you can't or shouldn't do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, they choose to go into like the workforce after high school, per se, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because education doesn't have to also necessarily mean like going to school, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Education can also be like being educated at work or learning something. Just as long as you're learning and like educating yourself on to make you like a better person and to like improve your skills and, you know, overall make you like a more like
better
character in society, then, you know, education makes you that much more powerful. So, yeah, great quote. I did want to go over some announcements real quick, actually, before we go into our first topic. So I want to mention that the Marin Women's Commission is seeking Marin teen girls in grades 8 through 12 to be Marin Teen Girl Ambassadors. So the ambassadors are a group of Marin teen girls who take ownership of the annual Marin Teen Girl Conference by helping develop the content. Each ambassador will have a leadership role that will go over the areas that bring the conference to life, such as community partners, marketing and outreach, social media, sponsors, and speakers. The Marin Teen Girl Conference is a project of the Marin Women's Commission. Participants earn community service hours, and the 2022 conference will be held on March 20th, 2022. Meetings happen every other Sunday evening, and the time is to be determined, and they start in September. So the application deadline is on September 3rd, so in just a few days. Interviews will be held from September 4th to the 17th, and the notice of acceptance will be on the 20th of September. And then the first ambassador meeting will officially take place on September 26th at the Lagoon Park, which is located at 160 Armory Drive, San Rafael, California, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We've gone ahead and put the link to the application in our Facebook and our YouTube. And also on Instagram, you'll find the Instagram profile for the conference. So if you guys have any other questions, you can reach out to them through those links. And I also wanted to mention that the Marin City Community Development Corporation, which Hasani is a part of, has a ServSafe Manager course starting on September 7th. This course offers in-depth instructions for working in the food industry by award-winning instructor Dr. Stephen Cohen, preparation for success in completing the ServSafe Manager Certification exam, one-on-one guidance from MCCDC staff with resume writing and job search, also support from MCCDC case management team related to successful employment placement. So the requirements are you have to be over 18, but you also have to have like an interest in enhancing professional skills and career advancement in the food service industry. willingness to increase responsibility and develop skills, and wanting to earn money quickly and get promotions faster. So if this sounds like it interests you and you are maybe out of high school now and are currently looking for maybe like a career path that you might want to choose, this is a great program and course because it'll get you pretty far in the food industry. So you can contact Program Manager Michael Andrews through his email at mandrews@marincitycdc.org, or you can call him at 415-339-2837. I'll say that one more time, 415-339-2837. You can also visit the website for this course on the Marin City CDC website, but we'll also be including the website link on, again, our Facebook and YouTube, and you can learn more about it on there. But that's it for the announcements. No, it was a bit, but now let's go over to asking Anali and Kimberly how they've been doing in high school and college. So just wanted to introduce Anali, who is currently now going to UC Berkeley. It's her first semester over there, right?
Yeah.
And just how do you feel about having to go to school again through Zoom, right? You're still doing things through Zoom, and
Yeah. So for us, there's certain classes that are in person. And like for me, I picked all my classes are online for lecture and in person for discussion. So it's like kind of like hybrid, basically. But there's some people who can choose to be doing in person through like certain classes that they offer. But yeah, I started school this Wednesday this week. So it was pretty interesting heading over there because I do commute, so it's a different experience from people who take the bus from like their units and then go to school. But yeah, it was pretty interesting walking in the campus and seeing a lot of people on campus. Because when I visited the campus, it was just a few people walking, but it wasn't that much like students. And you can see like people passing out flyers and stuff, so you really see it's active there. And there was actually like a protest on the first day.
I saw that. Was it about like meat?
It was about meat and People's Park.
Yeah, I did see some photos of that from a friend.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
There was like blood on the stairs and everything, huh? Or they like covered the stairs in blood,
yeah, and
or something
also,
like that.
A fountain. I heard it was like Kool-Aid, but I'm not sure. But it was something. But yeah, it was interesting seeing how active my school is. But yeah.
Yeah. And what classes are you enjoying so far at Berkeley?
Yeah, I wanted to mention anthropology. I'm actually taking that class, and I really enjoyed it because of how interactive my class is. Today we had a reading due, and I liked the reading, but I didn't really think of a different way that my other classmates have thought. So, like, when we went to discussion about the reading, everyone was actually raising their hands and typing on the chat. And just keep in mind that it's like 378 people.
Right, because the UC classes, they usually have way more people inside
and
the Zoom.
And that's the smallest class from
300? Yeah. Like over 300?
Smallest?
Yeah, that's my smallest class. But it was, like, very cool seeing how people were already raising their hands, like, ready to talk about the lecture. And I really like that because in high school, it would be...
Yeah, no one would want to talk.
I would always get nervous for, like, reading passages because I knew that I would have to talk because not a lot of people would do the homework. And since I, like, do the homework, like, I knew I had to talk. But it was so cool seeing how they were, like, talking on the chat as well. Like, even if they didn't get picked, they were writing, like, what they thought about the passage. And I wanted to share the passage that I read, which is pretty cool because it was basically about an anthropologist who was describing, from my perspective, from what I read, I thought it was about... I thought it was an anthropologist talking about a Native American tribe and their culture, but after going into the discussion and talking on the lecture, it was actually something different. It was the passage was giving me different clues and stuff. It was actually, I don't want to spoil it because I want you guys to read it, but it's called Body Ritual Among the Nasirema. I don't know if you guys heard of it. And it's
not heard of it.
No.
Mm-mm.
And the author is Horace Minor. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but it's a pretty cool reading. I was like surprised with what the author was actually saying, and it just gives you a different point of view of how anthropologists can talk about different cultures. That he just used certain words like magic and rituals and stuff like that an anthropologist usually describes about Native Americans or different society cultures, but in reality, like, he just gave me like a perspective that we're all quite similar with our our society and how we work.
How all that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and
great.
so I enjoyed seeing that perspective and reading that passage as our first reading. So I recommend you guys to read it and see what he was actually talking about, because it's pretty cool seeing how like it all unfolds. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you are enjoying your time.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of touched on the question I had for you, and it's basically talking about kind of like, are you excited to be back with other people, with, making connections? Because for a lot of students, going back, it has given them anxiety because of that loss of connection or human connection that we've had, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who, because she was studying so hard and it was just via Zoom, that she ended up having anxiety attacks, because it just felt so different to her. Being around so many people got her so nervous, and it just got her really nervous to be in a class and raising her hand and seeing that, because it was taken away from her for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to ask you, how are you feeling, being back in class physically, and how is that emotionally or mentally, and then also as well, like, physically?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know for me, last year when I started Zoom, I feel like it was more about the teacher and its environment. How I felt like I was pressured as well to talk on that class, and I felt very nervous. I would like actually throw up in the morning because I couldn't eat anything because I was so nervous.
Dang.
Yeah, it was that
Sorry
bad.
to hear that. Yeah, that's
But
rough.
yeah, I can agree with her that it can be nerve-wracking, but it just depends on the environment, I believe. But I personally, like, now, like, I'm kind of used to Zoom. And, like, yeah, it gets nervous driving to Berkeley, meeting new people, but it's actually exciting as well. Like, it's a mixture of feelings, but it's very nice to meet other people because they're actually experiencing probably the same thing you are, Like, they're probably nervous finding new friends because it's the first year of college. And it's pretty nice to see that how easy it is to make friends, because I was nervous making friends in college because none of my friends were going to Berkeley. So it was pretty nice seeing how fast I was clicking with other people because they also wanted to make friends too. So it was pretty nice. And not a lot of people in college make groups. They most likely like just hang out with friends with certain classes.
Or make like a couple friends
Right.
off of classes, yeah. Because a lot of the time it's like, in college especially, you're surrounded by people who are from different like parts of the country or even world, So
Yeah, it's so cool. Oh, what's called my teacher? He has an accent of British. And it's so cool because I never heard someone with an accent.
With a British accent?
Yeah, and it was pretty cool, like, seeing just, like, a diversity of people in classroom. There was only, like, 2 Latinas, including me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
In the whole class?
Yeah, in the whole class.
What?
But there was Asians and just, like, different race. So it was pretty cool seeing how
diverse
that was... for me.
I love that because I think it allows you to branch out from your like comfort zone and also from where you are and where you grew up, because then you're allowing you're allowed to see other cultures, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to see and discover and see so many things. And I think that's one. I think as a person who didn't go to college, I think that's one thing that I really do love college for, is that being able to meet different people, not just staying in your own circle, but finding out other cultures and different people. I think that is so beautiful. I think that's one of the biggest things that if I went to college, I think that would be one of my favorite things, just getting to meet different people. With that being said, what is an advice that you can give to those who are back to school? And again, because we had time off, almost 2 years of not being physically in class, going back, being surrounded with people, it might be very nerve-wracking, and it might impact your mental health. And what is an advice you can give as someone who is currently going through all of this?
Yeah, I would say just be easy on yourself. I know, like, just starting school, everyone's trying to settle in and get used to the campus, know where the classes are, and like homework due, and how like everything is set up for each class. So if things just don't go your way, it's okay. Don't stress yourself out, and there's always teachers and GSIs that can. Well, GSIs are just graduate students who help us. But you can, there's a ton of people that you can contact and ask for help if you have any questions or doubts, especially if you're transitioning to college. And, and also just make a schedule that works for you so you can be more interactive with yourself in lectures on Zoom or physically in person. And take care of your mental health as well. Make sure you have time for yourself so you can treat yourself as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing your experiences so far, Anali. And it's all really new to you, especially, being in a really big school like Berkeley. But yeah, thank you for sharing. Just want to move on to Kimberly now, who is a high schooler at Marin Community School. She's been there for what grade are you in currently?
I'm a junior.
So she's a junior. And Kimberly, how does it feel to be going back to school in person every day now after being restricted basically during the whole last semester?
It feels good, but at the same time, I don't like it because they have the hours now are so much different than it was before, and we don't get out till 3:30, between there, and we get in at 8:30, and I feel like it's so long. And once I get home, I'm so tired, and then I just go to sleep for 3 hours, and then before all that, I feel like I had more time, and now it's my entire day is just wasted.
Yeah, because
literally the entire week.
Because with Zoom, you could just kind of be on there, and you didn't have to go or get ready or anything.
Yeah, transportation as well. Yeah,
transportation, right? So you have to get there first of all. Wake up on time this time.
Yeah, I leave my house at 7:40 because my mom takes me and she has to drop off my little brothers at their school, and then she drops me off, and then I have to wake up. I wake up normally at 6:45 to get ready.
Yeah. Well, I totally get that. Because and did it feel weird for you going back to kind of what Santy touched on when we were talking to Anali about, so since you were so used to Zoom and not really interacting in a classroom, in a physical classroom, did it feel weird for you going into the classroom?
Yeah, it feels nice, but I feel like when I'm sitting, we have an hour and something minute classes, and it's just you're literally sitting the whole time, and I get so tired literally just sitting.
Yeah, just sitting down.
But I like how I get to see my friends more, 'cause I didn't really see them as much before, so now I see them more. And I think I've never been personally I've never been a shy person or anything. I get along with anyone easily, so it's not hard for me to make friends. Yeah.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
So going back to kind of being in that classroom, do you guys have designated seats and areas to sit or study and eat? Or?
No, we don't. We just get into the class and we sit wherever we want, but we do have to wipe down everywhere, where we sat and stuff. And then for lunch, we just have no one. Yeah, we don't have anywhere to sit.
Really?
Like, no,
Lunch?
no. Like we have a lunch area, but most people are out in the court. So
Playing. Okay.
yeah.
Oh.
All
But
right.
we have to keep our mask on like at all times.
At all times, yeah. That
Even
makes
when
sense.
we're playing like basketball or something, you have to keep it on.
Keep the mask on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
We're, like really strict on it.
Mm-hmm. All
Well,
right.
Well, I think that's part of like the agreement, right? Going back to physically to school, but masks always 24/7 with anything that you're doing. So, when you kind of touched on that feeling of your time being taken up, and then you get home and you're really tired, and then you say you sleep, right? When school starts, like you have homework, you have certain like responsibilities for school. How do you work around with making sure you have time for things even while you're going to school? So I'm talking about like procrastination, you know.
Well, we haven't gotten any homework recently, but what I did before COVID and stuff, is I would do my homework like at 12 at night, and I would go to sleep like at 1. And I still go to sleep really late. I need to work on my sleeping schedule.
That's an important one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe you can answer this too with that managing your time, because what happens is exactly that, where a lot of students, they get overwhelmed to school with going back to school because they leave things until the last minute, and then they sleep late. We wake up, same routine, because school takes up so much of your time. And then you have responsibilities after.
Yeah.
And kind of how your body's adjusted to, again, like going back to how we were on Zoom all the time. You know, a lot of people would be in bed while they're in the Zoom class or something. And that kind of gets your body like used to being in that position, or used to just being comfortable, you know? So that really screws up your sleep schedule as you're like transitioning through. So yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, I need help with my time management
as well.
I feel like it's hard to transition like early in the beginning, but you have to kind of get used to like what time works for you, to make sure you get that schedule done. And
Wait, I have a question for you. Do you sleep after?
What?
Like, do you sleep after school?
I know a lot of not technically, because I have like other stuff to do. So I try to make sure I sleep like around 9, so I can wake up early at 4 to 6 a.m. Depends on my day.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot sleep that early.
Yeah, I used to work like at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Whoa.
And then go to school. Yeah. It just, but
What time did you say you sleep around?
around 9.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good time.
Yeah.
That's
I cannot sleep
I
that
cannot
early.
sleep at 9. No, my body physically cannot.
For me, I think one of the biggest thing that helped me through high school. So I didn't end up going to college, but I was a very good student. I guess I was a very good student when in high school. One of the main reasons was because I was an avid. Like they made us do these mandatory reports, like weekly reports. So on Monday, since you get all your classes, right? They would give us our calendar, and then it's like a type of calendar, and they would make us write, our teacher would make us write throughout the week when we had a test in each of those weeks, or if we had a big assignment due that week, we would write it down. And they would put like, they would make us like, what's your priority? And then you would list 1, 2, 3, and then your goals for that week. And you have to turn it in, and she has to sign it. So in the back of my head, that like I was annoyed by it. It's like an extra work that I had to do. But the reality of it was that it helped me so much with making sure that I turned things in on time and allowing me to sleep so much earlier. Because before, when I was like, oh, whatever, I don't want to do that, I would sleep 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And then I realized how that affected my sleep schedule. And then sleep is so important. Like people sometimes, I've had friends where they sleep at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and then the next day they have school, and how that drains your energy, because sleep is it's a time for your mind and your body to like calmly rest.
Especially if you work out, you know, like super
you work out, and if you work school and work on everything else, it's a lot. So eventually, like right now, maybe you don't feel it, but you might it has a big effect on you
long term.
So,
long term. There's always times where there's like a day where I just sleep the entire day because like I've been sleeping so late and then waking up so early.
And you catch up on your sleep. That's how I am. With that, I wanted to ask you, because your high school experience has been so different for Javier and I. Well, Javier kind of experienced it with going to school. And do you feel like your high school experience was robbed? And if yes, what are ways you're creating memories and pushing through if your high school experience is being robbed?
Are you saying robbed because of COVID?
Yeah, like robbed in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like basically like a whole semester was on Zoom.
Like your
feel
high
like-
school experience type stuff.
I feel like kinda. I feel like not so much for me personally because it was really only like my sophomore year. And I feel like that year wasn't so big for me. And I feel, honestly, throughout COVID, I felt like I personally grew as a person from not going to school and just like more being with myself and trying to like help myself mentally. And I feel like it actually helped me. It didn't take me
interesting
love that.
perspective.
I love that. Oh my goodness. That's so awesome. No, congratulations. It's so hard for people to sometimes realize that it take time for yourself and try to figure things out.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's currently going through that, and sometimes as an outsider, it's hard to understand. But when COVID hit, it was the perfect opportunity for a lot of people to look within themselves and see, where you can connect with yourself. And
because you're not so focused on school and like having to go and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I wanted to mention, if your friend is watching, we send you very much love, and we hope you're working into yourself and training yourself,
Yeah. For him, it's been really hard, I guess, with the isolation of not getting to see people. And then, that stuff. And for me, my experience with COVID was so different. So I'm trying to understand that. And then I realized, everybody went through different things. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And then because for example, for me, COVID hit right when my senior year in high school, like the second semester. So there were so many things that we had planned and so many things that we were hoping for as a senior. And when we graduated, it was just through like a screen, like, oh, we ended school, that's it. And then we had the graduation ceremony stuff.
Yeah.
But I heard a lot from my peers that they felt like their experience was robbed.
I feel like it was definitely for like seniors.
Yeah, my brother, I think, graduated the same year as you. And he felt the same way. He because during that time they're supposed to have a prom, and then they had the ceremony like with cars.
Yeah, we had the ceremony with cars.
Yeah, that's how my brother's was too.
Yeah, and it was crazy. But before we end the second half of the show, I wanted to say to those who are going back to school, if you are nervous or have anxiety going back to school, because it is nerve-wracking, and sometimes adults may tell you, but why? It's just going to school.
Yeah.
But truth is, we're all human beings. We have a lot of emotions, and sometimes you've been locked up for quite some time, and going, into a big crowd might be nerve-wracking, but just know that everybody is also feeling that with you. You're not alone. You're not the only one feeling that. And so if you want to, take time for yourself and make sure you put time for yourself so that you can be and perform better during your day. Anyways.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Santy. Next up, we're going to have Hasani on, but just before, we're going to play a song by Gabriel Giacopo called Unspoken Rules. We'll be right back.
Walking all the lines between what's real. I was never told how to feel. Bridges burning down beneath us now. We're not alive if we're not online. Why are we still here? Thought we were in the clear. We're not controlled by headlights or headlines. We live online, no wrong or right. This is the new age. Don't wanna play it safe, but we scrape at the walls. All these unspoken rules. I wonder what it's like
welcome back. Again, that was Gabriel Giacopo, song Unspoken Rules. If you are a local Bay Area artist who wants to be featured on the show, please feel free to reach out to us on Facebook and on Instagram, and we'll be more than happy to have you on the show and play your music. So going back now, we have Hasani Moore from the Empowerment Clubhouse in Marin City. He is a social practitioner. And hello, Hasani. Thank you for being on the show today with us. How are you doing? Sorry.
Your time and your patience.
Thank you, Hasani. So can you explain to us what the Empowerment Clubhouse is?
Okay, well, the Empowerment Clubhouse is it's an organization that involves around people with mental illness. It's a day program for people with mental illness, basically. So a lot of the times people who have mental illness or are suffering from mental illness, they isolate, or they're stuck in a situation where they're in some type of respite housing or whatever the case may be. This is a program where they can come here and be around people who have illnesses somewhat similar to what they have. And let's say, they've been isolating or they've been off of work because of whatever illnesses, they can come here. It's a structured program. They can use whatever skills that they've had before they either had a break, or they're trying to gain skills, trying to get back into the workforce, or just socialize, hang out with people, and just hang out, fellowship, have good times. We go on field trips, outings. We have food here. There's a lot of things that can be experienced once you become a member of the clubhouse.
That's awesome. Honestly, I've never heard of anything like that for like to be offered around here, like a clubhouse, like a safe space. Basically, it's a space.
Absolutely.
A space that no judging, no one, welcoming everyone. I think that's really important, especially now with like how we were discussing that, like Zoom and being like in lockdown really took a toll on a lot of people's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting to hear.
Yeah, and wow, this is awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here with us today, because I think this is a great like community to know about. So what is the age range for the clubhouse? And
typically the people that attend the clubhouse are from 18 to whenever. There's guys here as old as 50, and there's people here that were young as maybe like 20, 23.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're out of high school and if you're feeling that anxiety and you want to be around people, you want to try to get back into the groove of how a structured program, or you want to learn some job skills, or you want to just be around people and get back to being acclimated about being around people, other than whatever your structure is at home, or the people that you're at, your family or whatever, you can come here.
Wow, that's great. So is there let's say someone was in high school and they were going through some issues, would that still be okay if they were to come by? Or
no, we don't turn anyone away.
Okay.
It's just if you're in high school, you need to be in school, right?
Yeah. Well, right. That's right.
That's the one thing. But
okay.
After school, if time allows, you want to come here and hang out. Yeah, totally.
All right, great.
We welcome everyone.
And is there like a sign-up process that you have to go through, or can you just come in?
Well, there is a sign-up process because we like to know who we're getting to know,
Yeah.
You can go to the website, the Marin CDC website, under the Empowerment Clubhouse heading. You can either call, you can email us, either whatever is more comfortable. You can stop by and talk to one of either me or Tarina Craig. She's the director here, and have a conversation with us, fill out an intake form, and we'll look it over and we'll get back to you. But most of the time, people are accepted.
All right. You mentioned that high schoolers can go in after school. I was wondering what time is the hours for you guys when you guys are open? We're
open from 9 to 5.
All right. Awesome.
So that doesn't leave a lot of time. But if we're in Marin City, I don't know how close you are or your listeners are. If they are close, we definitely welcome you coming and stopping by.
Well, thank you. Kimberly, did you have some questions you wanted to ask?
Yes. How can people who don't have internet access get to these needs?
Don't have internet. Well, word of mouth is one. Word of mouth is one. And I'm going to be doing a lot more outreach. This is like the first step in me doing a lot of outreach to younger adults, you guys' age and people middle age. Mental illness, like I always say, mental health does not have a face or a color.
Yeah.
It could
Thank you for
affect
mentioning
anyone
that.
in any part of their life, So I'm just trying to reach any of those people who feel isolated and alone. You have friends, people that, that would love to see you, love to get to know you, get to know your strengths, whatever skills you have. There are a lot of people with a lot of amazing skills that have mental illness, and because of that illness, they feel isolated, or they feel like people are going to feel weird because of whatever their diagnosis is. I used to feel I had mental illness myself. And for a long time, when I first had my break, I felt like that. I felt like nobody could understand what I was going through, until I started meeting other individuals in different programs and peers. Peers are people who have a lived illness, right? Or, they have something similar to what you may have been going through. And you have these conversations and you get to know that you're not alone in the world. There are people that can love you and care for you and understand, just like your family. So, yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
Yeah, it did. Thank you. And how does the Empowerment Clubhouse help youth who are homeless or that are at risk of being homeless? If so, how do you guys help?
What I would do, this was going to answer your question in a way. I started out working on a homeless outreach team. So I'm pretty well acquainted with the people at, the local shelter programs in Marin. And then there is, I forget what the name of the youth organization that helps young youth who are homeless or happen to be going through serious situations like that. But I would go out my way to help someone that needs some help in that manner, because it's easy for me. It's not a big deal, So that's one thing. And we have food here. We don't really have any housing programs or any of that, but I can link someone to services. We can link you to services,
Okay.
I will help advocate for someone.
Wow, that to me warms my heart. I love how you mentioned how mental health doesn't have
a color or
a
a way of
face, because
Oh.
personally in recently I have just learned more about what mental health is. I think especially I like to put this out there, is that especially since I came from a Latin background, for us growing up in our culture, it's not believed so much in mental health.
Yeah.
So due to that, unfortunately, I wasn't aware of mental health and how it has such a huge impact in your life. And just hearing when Javier mentioned that we were going to have you on the show, it really warmed my heart, because I want to advocate for those who are going through mental health. To me, mental health is such a very, very delicate topic, because unfortunately, if I cry, I'm sorry. But unfortunately, due to mental health, I had a couple very, very important people pass. So thank you for what you're doing. It does really mean a lot. I'm so sorry I'm crying, but
you're fine.
It's one of those touchy things,
It really...
Go ahead, get it out.
It's okay.
Let it all out.
Okay, just let it out.
It's okay. That's okay.
I just want to say thank you, because I wish we all openly talk about this, because it's such a hard topic to really deconstruct sometimes. And my goal as a female, as someone from a Latin background, to let people know, hey, it's okay when you're having a bad day. No, you don't need to care about what people are thinking or judging about you. It's okay to have a good day, and it's okay to have a bad day. And to me, my journey with mental health is learning that a healthy mindset is having all emotions. Having sad, mad, all of the emotions. And normally our society puts out that we always have to be positive. We always have to be this. There are times where if you want to cry, cry. And so with that, I was doing research with the organization that you guys started back in the 1970s.
Yeah, that was phenomenal for me to learn.
Yeah, when I read that, I was just I told Javier, I'm going to be very nervous talking about this, because like I said, I've had a very close connection with mental health, seeing that process. So I wanted to ask you guys, how do you support these people with mental health? What resources do you provide for them, and what activities do you guys do? Because I know there's so many different types of mental health disorders. So you said that there's different ages and stuff. So what do you guys do to help them in this club?
Okay, so we have 3 units. There's a culinary unit. There's a oh, I forgot. It's like we do like secretarial stuff and office stuff, office management, things of that nature. And we have a garden. So what happens? You come to the clubhouse. We have a conversation with you. We figure out what you like to do. If you like talking to people, you're very talkative. You can do reach outs and call people and invite people to the clubhouse. If you love to cook, we have meals every Tuesday and Thursday. We have a Taco Tuesday every Tuesday, and every Thursday there's a meal that a member picks to make. So if whatever you wanted to make, like this Thursday, somebody's gonna make like something for the holiday, like baked beans and barbecue chicken or something. I made a macaroni and cheese and broccoli, whatever you like,
Yeah.
Whatever your skills and whatever your talents are, you can bring it here, and we run it like it's a business, it's an organization. But at the same time, if you want to get back into society, if you want to learn other skills, and then the other thing is you got other people to talk to that'll be willing to help you. Sometimes we have people that come and they have anxiety issues, or they have problems with being around people. It's okay. You take a break. There's no pressure. Nobody puts any pressure on you. You go at your own pace, whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
That's what this organization is here to be, supportive of people who have mental illness. It's not one of those programs, if you're not following with the protocol or rules that these other people have, you're automatically kicked out,
Wow.
With that being said, there also is no tolerance for violence as well. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that what you were describing was basically a home or a community. And I feel like mental health can be part of, like, from the beginning, someone probably like had problems at home and they didn't get those experiences that they needed, like fatherly love or mother love, or just advice in general of how to work in life. And I feel like you get those skills once you go into this home.
You definitely can get a lot of life skills here. I mean, since I've been working here, I've learned a lot of that. I wasn't a cook when I came here. I didn't know how to cook. I'm grandma, moms, and all that. I started learning how to cook. I cook when I go home. I'm learning like a lot of clerical skills. I'm learning a lot of things, and I'm not just sitting here telling you that just because I'm trying to make this sound attractive. The people here are really, really good. And when you come, you can come take a tour of this place. You can meet the people who work here. You can learn about the programs, and you'll see that I'm not just one of these people that's blowing smoke, just trying to get numbers of people to show up. Like, we really have a really good movement that's starting, and anybody that wants to be a part of it and create something wonderful and beautiful, that's what I'm here for. And that's what my coworkers are here for. And, that's what the clubhouse is about.
Thank you for sharing that. I think what Anali mentioned is so important, and it's a huge part of like your roots or where you came from, how you grew up, has a really big part of your mental health and how you are and who you are. Kind of like it shows that. And so to those who are watching and listening, I got very emotional because I'm a really strong believer that if you are feeling feelings of loneliness, of like, I don't love myself, know that you are perfect, you are loved, and you do matter. And those things that go through your head, don't think that you're the only one that goes through that. There are a lot of people that go through that. And so to those out there, if you know someone, even if it's not you, and if you know someone, make sure to, we'll leave the information on the Facebook and Instagram.
Please.
And reach out, especially for someone that you think could help, at least from my own experience. Since I didn't know this, unfortunately, I couldn't help those that I loved the most. And it's really hard, trust me. So if you can do something now, do it, because then when things get worse and you don't have that power to do anything anymore, it's too late. So again, thank you so much. And I'm glad you explained a little bit more of what people can do there, because it can make a huge, huge impact in someone's life.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask, like, how was your experience with mental health? How were you able to overcome that? If you want to share.
Definitely. Okay, so my experience was, I was working, I was doing hair and all this other stuff, and, trying to maintain a successful livelihood. And I had a break, and I didn't know why or how. When I talked to doctors about it, well, first of all, I was in denial. I was in denial that I had mental illness. Yeah. And then the other component is what the young lady spoke to, in my culture, it must be the devil, or, whatever they wanted to put on it, but I knew that something was wrong with me when I kept having the same conflicts pop up over and over again. I kept getting into situations where I had arguments with people. I wouldn't remember things, and then I had to I had a conclusion, like, that was really, really bad, where I ended up getting arrested. Wow. So through that process, I ended up going to community mental health, and I was diagnosed, and I met a lot of really good doctors and a really good therapist. Kids like your age, if someone offers you therapy, don't shy away from that. You learn a lot about yourself through therapy. And working with the therapists and the doctors and psychologists, I was able to get back to some semblance of myself, to where I was able to function. And I was out of commission for like 3 years, and then I started going to community colleges and taking different, what did I do? I took a peer certificate program. And another resource that's really good for people is ERC. It's on Kerner, right near the wellness campus. God, I can't think of the name of this place, but I'm gonna call you guys back and give you that resource as well. It's a drop-in center for people who have mental illness, and I spent a lot of time there.
Oh, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, because I think I took, so not to take away from your story, but
go ahead.
I definitely felt connected to what you said about, reaching out to a therapist and telling people that, especially our age, that if you're offered that, like, to have a therapist or to have someone look at you, it's such a game changer. Like,
the first thing they say is, "Oh, that's not cool," or we don't do that.
Or like, I don't need that, or I don't need someone to tell me how I feel, because I'm the only one who knows how I feel. And that's true to a certain extent, but also it's good to get professional help, because it'll guide you in the right.
It's always good to have professional help.
So that I definitely I remember having a therapist at the Kerner clinic.
Absolutely.
I think it was a part of that program. Again, I'm also blanking on the name, but it was amazing. It really did help out a lot.
Enterprise Resource Center. That's the name of it.
Enterprise Resource Center. Okay. Yeah.
Open it back up.
It's a great resource for people our age. And again, it helped me get through depression pretty well. Because again, I was in denial of depression for a really long time, until like college really hit me, and then I was like, all right, I'm pretty sure something's wrong with me. And then I like went to the therapist, and then I was like, okay, now I fully understand like where I'm at right now. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And
I like how you guys were willing, both of your stories were willing to go and get help, because some people do not get help, and that's where like we don't get to see them anymore, because they just wanted to deal it with themselves. And I feel like you should, if something is wrong with you, like if you feel like something is wrong with you, I truly think that you guys should believe in yourselves and actually seek for help. And if there's professional people, like I've heard stories of professional people saying that they don't have, like the patient doesn't have anything wrong, and later on they have something wrong, it's because like they were able to find a doctor who actually knew what was going on with that person.
Absolutely. And that happens more often than you think. You don't, like I tell my family all the time, if you don't feel like your normal self, you know what that is. And you think that there's something wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with going to a doctor. There's nothing wrong with going to a therapist or any of those things. You or you are going to be the best advocate for yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And it could be just a friend too, or someone that you really trust that you want to talk to.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I think I like what my mom tells me all the time is that this is a habit that I tend to do. It's like a glass cup, and it's like you turn on the water, right, and you let the water in, and eventually your cup overflows.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I tend to do with my emotions. Is certain things, so many things happen to me, and I'm like, I'm okay, I'm fine. And I let it build up, and eventually it overflows, and I explode with
like a breaking point.
A breaking point. And one thing she always tells me is, don't think that because you ask for help, it means you're weak. That's not what it doesn't mean. It says if you ask for help and you feel like something is happening, you ask for help, that means strength and courage, because you're willing to say, hey, something's wrong, and I need to know what it is, and if I can't figure it out by myself, I'm going to go ask someone or tell someone to basically kind of relieve that and see what I can do. So to those, it's not a form of weakness, it's a form of strength if you're asking for help.
Yeah. And like with that process, if someone tells you like if something is wrong with them, you can also be an advocate for them, and try to find more resources. Like you guys are an advocate yourselves, like you guys are going to link to people who need help, and that's amazing. I really appreciate that. Since I haven't said it out loud, I really appreciate how you guys are willing to give resources to those who actually need help, and to those who think they don't need help, just go for it. Just go and see what if it goes with you or not. Like it doesn't hurt trying new things, right?
No. Well, if I could say one thing too, it took me several times and several run-ins with law enforcement before I figured it out. You know, if for those who are listening, you know, you don't have to feel defeated. You don't have to feel small. You don't have to feel low or any of that. Just if you feel like you're not your normal self, just seek some help. Or at least talk to somebody that you love and trust, you know? That's the easiest thing to do.
Right. And we're about to finish our show here, but since you're saying to reach out, I wanted to ask, where can youth and adults be able to contact the employment programs?
They can go to the Marin City CDC website. I'll even give you my phone number. I'll give you my phone number. I'm 415-444-6502. Contact me, call me, text me. If I don't answer, leave a message. I'll try to get you help, whatever I can help facilitate, you know, within reason. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to be of service. So that's it in a nutshell. But yeah, like Marin CDC, we're here. I don't have the phone number right offhand, and I should have that. That's very important to me. But again, you know, the websites, you can use a cell phone, tablet. If you don't have computer access, ask one of your friends. You can call me again. I'll give you my phone number, 415-444-6502. Reach out to me, and I'll call you right back.
All right. Is this only for employment programs, or is this for all the programs?
Anything.
Awesome. Well, Hasani, thank you so much again for being on the show with us today. It's been great getting to know you and your story. I just kind of wanted to make one last point. Something that you touched on about culture and how that can really affect mental health. For me, you know, again, coming from a Latin background, I've always been taught that I shouldn't cry and that I shouldn't, being a male, just you're not meant to cry. You're always supposed to be bigger and better than the females, or like crying is only for females. And, you know, it's very outdated ideologies that unfortunately are still very present in a lot of Central American countries. But like I said, like if you are from a culture like that and you identify yourself as a man of that culture, you should dispel all that completely, because it's not true. It's completely not true.
You know, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, like it's just completely fine to cry. Like if you're a man, especially, like just anyone or whatever you identify as, like, it's okay to cry, you know? It's because it's a great, really healthy way of releasing yourself, like
Yeah, you feel
releasing
good after
everything
crying.
after you feel.
Listen, man, real men cry, brother.
Yeah,
real
no, they
men
do.
cry.
They do.
You have moments. You lose it sometimes. It happens. That's part of being an adult, a person. You go through these myriad of feelings. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make you weak or, oh, he's crying. You know, I had a conversation with my uncle the other day, and I never ever in my life seen the man cry. He's the tough guy, you know, always cracking jokes and all that stuff. But when you have serious situations that happen, sometimes your only release is to cry.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't look down on him because of that. I felt really good that we were able to have a dialogue and connect, and he told me how he felt about certain things instead of holding it in and then, you know, and it coming out some other kind of way, him being frustrated or whatever the case may be. You know, we all need that. So I'm going to only hope that people will find that in whoever it needs to be. If you can't find it in a family member, a therapist or a doctor or someone, you know, we're not here to be cardboard cutouts of ourselves. We're here to live our best lives, however we see fit. We determine what our successes are. You know, nobody else does that for us.
Most definitely. Because, you know, all these young people who are getting the help that they need for mental health, it creates a really bright future for everybody. Because the more happier people are, the more people are prepared for dealing with mental health right now at a young age, the future is going to be really great. Because then a lot of those, again, like from whatever cultures they may come from, they have all those old ideologies. All those ideologies are going to be gone by that time.
And they're already leaving, bro.
Yeah, they're already leaving.
Age.
And people are recognizing that. So again, thank you so much, Hasani, for being on the show with us today. It's been an honor. Do any of you guys have any last minute thoughts you wanted to add?
I just wanted to say thank you for being vulnerable and saying your story. And I want to thank all of us for just being vulnerable at this moment where it's a difficult topic. But yeah, just want to say that.
But you know, the more you talk about it, the easier it gets. And it doesn't start, it isn't taboo anymore, you know? So.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just to the viewers. Again, thank you, but to the viewers as well. You're one of a kind. You're worth so much. And if you have, you know, any thoughts that saying you are not worth anything, you are. And I always say, I love you. And if you haven't heard that from someone, know that I love you. And I know you are worth so much, and you do make a difference in this world, and you do matter. So thank you, and that's all for me.
Kimberly?
Yes, thank you so much for being on the show and showing us more about what mental illness is. And I'm going to try to talk about the Clubhouse program at my school, hopefully in a week, if I'm able to.
If you need help, call me. I'll come out to the school. I don't have a problem with that.
Wait, if you can, then I will definitely let them know to contact you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, you guys.
All right, well, take care, Hasani. Thank you again. This is the end of the show. Thank you for watching, everyone. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care and stay safe.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye, everyone.